Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Chilltown Hoops. I'm your host, Jermaine. The youngsters call me OG. My friends call me J-Dub. Let's get to it. When you're the leader of a team, everything you do resonates through that team. Everything, from the way you carry yourself, from the way you talk, the way you walk. Everything that you do resonates through that crew. And they feed off of you, both positively and negatively. So, when I watched that Minnesota-Memphis game, I was very disappointed in the effort from Karl Anthony Towns. And the reason why I was disappointed, because it suggested to me watching him, was we got what we came for. We got the one win. We got this. If we win tonight, fine. If we don't, no big deal. But we got what we came for. Instead of coming out with the energy that he came out with in game one, which was, Jaren Jackson, I'm going after you. I'm going to play smart. I'm going to play aggressive. In the process of me playing aggressive, I'm going to outplay you. You are going to have to play against me. But he didn't do that. He wasn't smart. He was overly aggressive. Got himself in early foul trouble. That effort wasn't there. And that trickled down to the whole crew. They didn't look like they were in a game where they were fighting for their lives, like Memphis was. Memphis recognized, we lose this game, we might be over. Because we can't go back to Minnesota being down 2-0. We cannot. Now, going forward in the series, that effort has to be there with Karl Anthony Towns. It has to be. It's not a situation where you can pick and choose which games you want to play, pick and choose which games you want to be smart. There might be some nights where he just doesn't have it, but that effort always has to be there. Jaren Jackson cannot play you to a tie. You are going to be the difference in this series, my man. You are. I love who Anthony Edwards is. I've said this countless times and I stand on it. Anthony Edwards, he looks to me like a more athletic version of Mitch Richmond. But he feeds off of you. He feeds off of what you do. The way you came out in that game one, Anthony Edwards was licking his chops. Let's go. He didn't look at all flustered. He looked razor sharp. That's because of the energy that you created. That's what big men do. And that goes as far back as Jabbar, Shaq, Olajuwon. When the big guy comes out with that energy, all the other guys feed off of that, and it just gives them so much confidence. So much confidence. So Cat has to be better. He has to be better. And not just in his game, just in his energy, more than anything. It has to be better. No doubt about that. Has to be better. So, I used to be, not a hater, no, but I was very critical of Brandon Ingram. And the reason why I was critical of him was because he kind of suggested to me that he was soft. And I was disregarding the fact that he was young and that he was playing with LeBron. I was completely disregarding that. And now that he's got on a team where he's one of the main guys, he's shown, number one, what I do best, which is score. I can do that with the best of them. And I can do it on the biggest stage. It doesn't matter. I can do it on the biggest stage with the best of them. Now, can this continue? I think it can. I absolutely think it can. CJ McCollum can continue to do what he's doing by showing his professionalism like he's been doing. And I think Brandon Ingram fed off of that. Absolutely, he fed off of that. I'm going to get involved in this game. I know who you are, CJ, but I'm going to pick and choose my spots, and I'm going to get involved in this game as I go. But I'm not going to back down because I see what you're doing. CJ gets to his spots. CJ is so good. He's so crafty with the basketball. He doesn't do anything that he can't do. He'll shoot the long ball when it's necessary, but he doesn't take bad shots. I thought they did a good job after Devin Booker went down, which was the difference in the game. I mean, Devin Booker, before he got hurt, I thought that despite it being a close game, I didn't feel like Phoenix didn't have control of the game. But when he got hurt, then the tide turned. Chris Paul had to do more. And he did. He wasn't the distributor that he was in the second half that he was in the first half. Because in the first half, he was more of a table setter. In the second half, he started scoring more. And guys didn't get shots that they were getting in the first half. I thought New Orleans did a good job clamping down defensively. But with Devin Booker being hurt, I mean, this series could get extended to 6 games. I thought that it would be a short series. But Chris Paul is so good that I think that he's going to figure it out. I'll be surprised if New Orleans were to extend this series to 7. No doubt about that. I stand on it when I look at that Denver team. The plan, I think that Draymond does such a good job as a defensive anchor. You know, talking to everybody, getting everybody in line, being the eyes and ears for everybody. And just putting pressure on Denver defensively, putting pressure on them. Not just offensively, but defensively too, putting pressure on them to make them guard. And they didn't get anything else from anybody else except Joker. They didn't get anything else from anybody except Joker. And like I said, I feel like that's going to be a short series. I feel like it can be a short series. I don't think Golden State did anything dramatic. I thought that their game plan was simple. And I think that still could be a short series. Golden State didn't do anything out of the ordinary. They protected their home floor. Denver, you got to go home and do that now. You absolutely have to go home and do that. When I look at this Brooklyn Nets Boston series, let me tell you, man. It reminds me so much of basketball. The way basketball should be played. And making it difficult on guys. I'm done listening to the logic of, you're not going to be able, you just got to let guys get theirs. Now, I know that there are guys who are awesome, which some guys you just can't stop. You just got to eat their production. Kevin Durant is one of those guys. But you can make it difficult on them. And this Boston Celtics defense has been great. They've been absolutely great. They've been throwing different looks at Kevin Durant. They've been dealing with him off the basketball, keeping the basketball away from him. They've done the same thing with Irv. And now Kevin finds himself not being the one-on-one scorer when he faces up like he normally does. No. Now he's turning his back to guys, and then they're recognizing that. And in the process of them recognizing that, what do? He's getting the ball stolen from the back. What he's doing is now he's shooting off-balance shots, which he would normally make in a different circumstance. But when you're getting bumped and you're getting crowded and you're getting thrown off rhythm, those shots aren't as simple. Those shots are a lot more difficult than they've been. A lot more difficult. Jason Tatum, as good as he is, you know how I feel about Jason Tatum. I'm a huge fan of Jason Tatum. I think that he's my favorite player under 25. I think that he lets guys off the hook with the long ball. What he did in game 1 was not the same as what he did in game 2. In game 1, he let these guys, he went after Claxton. Whenever Claxton was covering him, he went after him. Do not let him off the hook. And what I also thought that in game 2, it didn't translate, where he shot a lot of long balls, and not only did he shoot a lot of long balls, he passed on a lot of mid-range stuff for other guys shooting long balls, which helps because it opens up the offense tremendously. No doubt about that. It opens up the offense tremendously. But he's got to be more aggressive in the mid-range than he was last night. Absolutely he does. The thing that I thought helped Boston tremendously was I thought that they made those guys guard. Make Seth Curry guard. Make Kyrie guard. Make Dragic guard. Make these guys, make Kyrie Irving guard. Because these guys do not want to play defense. Particularly in transition. They don't. They do not want to play defense, particularly in transition. And if you make these guys guard, I think you're going to have some success. Man, I tell you, boy, missing Robert Williams. If Robert Williams was healthy, what they're doing now, in addition to Robert Williams, it would make them so much better defensively. They've proven why we're the best defensive team in the game, though. They've absolutely proven that. And I'm digging that. I'm absolutely digging that from them. Now, mind you, Boston didn't do anything special. This wasn't a must-win for Brooklyn. No, it was not. This was not a must-win for Brooklyn. I thought that KD looked slow. I thought he looked out of sorts. And I said this to you guys months ago. When he got hurt. I talked about his injury last season. I talked about his Achilles. And I asked you, are we seeing the beginning of the end of KD? And I raised some eyebrows because I'm looking at a guy who, he's been in the game for a long time. He's like I said, he still has the skill set, but he just doesn't look as sharp. He looks slow. I'm not going to say old. No. Old and slow aren't the same thing. But he looks slow. And I'm real interested to see how this translates over into Game 3. When I watch this Miami Heat team, this is one of the best collective efforts that I've seen from a team in a long time. They haven't gotten much from Bam. They have not gotten but much. Game 1, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 9 points, 6 rebounds in Game 2. Tyler Hero's been this, and that's not going to fly in the next series. I think that they're going to beat Atlanta, but that's not going to. We got to get a better effort out of these guys. But we got to get a better effort out of these guys individually. But collectively as a unit, those guys are absolutely on the same page. And the engine is Kyle Lowry. He's the guy who makes sure, he's their Draymond Green. He's the guy who makes sure that everybody is where they need to be. He's their signal caller. And he's the guy that keeps them balanced. Jimmy Butler got one of those games where, like, once he gets going, you got to turn him loose. Like, Spo is one of the best X and O guys in the game. I can't name 5 X and O guys better than Spo. He's one of the best X and O guys in the game. But at some point, your best players, you got to turn them loose. And when buckets gets going like that, there aren't any X's and O's. You got to turn them loose. When you get R.J. Hunter, who doesn't look like he wants to guard, when you get him on you, go after him. And speed the game up, too. I thought they did a really good job on Trae Young in switching and pushing him further away from the basket and forcing him into tough shots, because that's the only way you're going to slow him down. That's the only way that you can slow him down, is if you do that. And I thought that they did a good job in that. I think he was in the second half, he only gave them 7 points in the second half. And if that defense continues with Miami, I think that they can make quick work of Atlanta. I do. Because collectively, Atlanta doesn't have what they have. They just don't. I was surprised with Milwaukee's effort with against Chicago. Now, don't get me wrong. Losing Bobby Portis, that is huge, man. That is huge, because not only is he buckets, but he's also that energy coming off the bench. Sometimes he starts, but he's that energy coming off the bench. And when you don't have that, that's the same as what I talked about with Cat not bringing the energy that he normally brings. When you lose that, that's a huge part of what you're doing. I did not expect DeMar DeRozan to go 6 for 25 again. I did not expect that. And I'm actually happy that I saw this effort from him. And the reason why I'm happy is because I hear people a lot of times talk about how DeMar DeRozan isn't very good in the playoffs. And that's just not true. That is not true. The problem with DeMar DeRozan was LeBron James. That was it. He very rarely had issues with anybody else. Very rarely. The problem that DeMar DeRozan had was LeBron James. Just like everybody else did. Just like everybody else did. I thought that Billy Donovan did a great job in keeping those guys balanced offensively. Getting guys open and drawing up what he needed to draw up. And he also did the same thing that Spo did. Once your guy gets going, turn him loose. And that's primarily what he did with DeMar DeRozan. Just turning him loose. Absolutely, turn him loose. No doubt about that. So, I really enjoyed that. I did. I really enjoyed that playoff series with them. I thought that this Brooklyn series, I think it's gonna go 6, right? I think this Brooklyn series is gonna go 6. I think Chicago and Milwaukee, I still think that they're gonna make short work of Chicago. And the reason why I didn't get much into Philadelphia and Toronto is because there is no reason for me to. I mean, I could give you an in-depth analysis of the Philly-Toronto series about how Tobias Harris is playing Siakam to a tie. He's doing a really good job in forcing him into tough shots. Siakam wants to go to the basket. And the fact that Embiid is there, and that slows him down. And he wants to get in the mid-range. Well, he can't get in the mid-range because Tobias Harris is doing a great job on him defensively. How Maxey is completely outplaying Van Fleet, particularly in transition. When he speeds the game up, Van Fleet has no shot. He just looks faster. He looks sharper. I could go into all of that stuff. But this comes down to one thing. I got Hakeem Olajuwon and you don't. It's that simple. It's small, is athletic, and is they forced Philly into a lot of turnovers. I think Philly had almost over 20 turnovers yesterday. Absolutely. But in the end, I got Hakeem Olajuwon, you don't. That's the difference in this series. That is the difference in this series. I can talk about James Harden being up and down and being the distributor that he is and being the playmaker that he is and just opening up that offense. I can talk about that, but I don't need to. And the reason why I don't need to is simply because of one thing and one thing only. I got Hakeem Olajuwon. You don't. You guys are small. They're in dire need of a big man. Dire need of a big man. That's got to be the focus in the offseason. We need a big man. Because we're too small. We are too small for these guys. Not just for these guys, for the playoffs. We're too small. You're not going to, I don't think that you're going far with a bunch of 6'7" and 6'8" guys. You need a big man. That has to go. You have to get yourself a big man. So I'm really excited about these playoffs, man. And this thing is going to keep rolling. And you're going to keep hearing from me as long as you want. As long as you want to hear from me, you're going to keep hearing from me. So we'll do it again really soon, guys. But until then, take it light, but take it.